So there are a lot of things that beginning course creators get wrong, but the biggest one that I see is they're not pausing to ask, is a course actually a good fit for my business, and where does it fit? There are a lot of gurus out there promising to help you make 6 figures in 6 weeks just by packaging your expertise. And that's honestly a load of crap. Unless you are truly an expert in something and you already have a big audience or a big name. And even then, it's not actually about packaging expertise. Because when you package expertise, what you tend to get is a book, not a learning experience. And while you can learn things from books, there needs to be active engagement with the information and applying it. I'm Dr. Katrina Mitchum, and I've been designing and redesigning courses online since 2009. So, when does a course actually work in a business? People buy courses because they want to change something and they want to change it through learning, right? And so courses can't just be content repositories. Nobody learns by just pouring information into their head. So courses work in a business when you actually have things that they can do in order to apply the information or apply the things that you know. There are a few pretty typical situations where a course would work well. The first one is if you need a lead generator, right? This is a short, quick win that people can get with you. It's like your micro course. It can also be the thing that's preparing them to work with you. It can also work if you have a lot of expertise in something and you're looking to help people learn something that's either self-paced or in a cohort. That piece doesn't really matter. But I've said this before, and I'll say it a million times, expertise equals amnesia. And so you forget what it's like to be a beginner. So it's not that it's not possible, it's that you really have to break down the steps to help them get to wherever it is they're trying to go. Another situation where a course really works is if you're doing one-on-one work and you need some supplement, right? Whether that's you're trying to send them on side quests to do something specific for them or to have something to bring to your next call or whatever it happens to be, those things can be built as a learning experience that's applicable to more than one person. So they might need extra support in one particular thing. What makes something a course and not just one-on-one work in this situation is that all courses are based around activities and information that work no matter who is taking it, right? Like that's the piece that makes something teachable in a group setting. It's that shared goal, I'm trying to write a welcome email sequence, right? It's that shared goal that makes it that makes it an actual learning experience, that makes it an actual course. These are the patterns that you're seeing. Maybe everybody struggles with coming up with a course topic, or maybe everybody struggles with, well, how do I actually validate this idea? Those are the things that are prime real estate for becoming a course. And that's why it's so important to already know the people that you're trying to help, right? Because we're looking for patterns. We're looking for the thread that ties all of the people together in order to create a course that works for them, works for us, and is going to fit in our business. A course can also work if clients need support after your one-on-one services or other work that you're doing with and for them. But that pattern aspect of it still applies. And none of this is to say that, sort of standalone courses don't work. They can, but the technology really hinders us, right? Most standalone courses need to have some other aspect of accountability in order to work well, unless they're those micro courses. Okay, so when is a course not a good idea for your business? So when one person says to you, have you ever thought of offering a course on... that's not really a reason to jump in and get started without fully validating the idea with other people. Trust me, I have made that mistake. And another situation that might seem contradictory is that if you haven't worked on this thing with others and nobody has asked you for it, then you're really not ready for a course. A course is a good idea when we find there's an overlap between what we know, what we want to teach, and what others want from us. And so if you're not getting signals from all three of those areas, then you may want to rethink whether or not this is a good move for your business. Okay, so let's imagine that your business does fit one of the categories. How do we actually get from idea to our first sale. So when you have that first, what if I did a course on idea, you want to do a little bit more digging. Not really into what you want to teach, although most initial topic ideas tend to be too broad. But what can help you narrow it down is digging into what others want and what they need. Because you can have a bajillion modules, but if you haven't figured out who you're teaching, when you're teaching, and how you're teaching, it's not going to go very well. That means doing market research, but not doing it in the traditional way that marketers tell you to do market research. You need to be talking to people not just as buyers, but as learners. So I like to call it doing learner research because we learn about who they are and what their goals are and how they like to learn. And all of that information can help us market the course. But the reverse is very rarely true. Our traditional market research of where are you right now, right? Those things don't necessarily help us build a course that's going to help our people learn. When people invest in courses, they want to be successful. They want to learn the thing that they are coming to learn in order to reach a goal. So after you write the kind of learner research questions and validate the idea, then you establish why is this a problem? And that comes from both a combination of your own experience and also what you've heard from them. And then you write some outcomes. And we're not talking bullshit. They'll understand how to kind of outcomes. We're talking concrete, specific, articulable outcomes. What will they actually be able to do? Okay, and then from the outcomes, you build out the steps, tasks, and activities. A lot of beginners start with the content. This is the information that I know they need to know. That's building from a place of this is the knowledge I want to share instead of this is the thing I want to help them do or accomplish. If we only focus on knowledge, then our clients aren't going to get what they need. Okay, so after you have those things, the steps, the tasks, the activities, then you figure out what content they need to be able to do those things, right? And this is one of the ways that you can prevent like that course bloat that so many people have. And then you pull all of these pieces into a course map that tells you when what is happening and what you need to do. And so a course map has all of these pieces in it, right? It has the modules, it has the lessons, it has whatever way you're organizing those things, but it also explains the why, right? And this is the key piece that beginners also often miss is giving the reasons behind everything you're asking them to do. Why are they watching this video? Why are they doing this activity? Why are they going and standing on their head, right? All of those things need an explanation and a connection, right? How is this thing building on what we've done and getting us to where we're going? Because adult learners, potentially all learners, but especially adult learners, need to see a connection between what they're trying to learn and their own personal experience. Frankly, adults are busy, right? That's one reason. But the second reason is that you encode information better when you have something that you're building off of. And so that connection is really important. When it's not there, things start to feel like busy work. And then you have folks that aren't implementing, aren't doing the things. Okay, so after you have a course map, you have some options. Marketing and sales plans are too big for me to cover in this video. But what I will say is you can build before you sell, or you can sell before you finish building. That is entirely up to you and your tolerance for doing things on the fly, right? I am totally okay with, hey, this isn't all ready, we're gonna play. For some people, that makes their eye twitch. How do we know for sure we're not jumping into something where we're wasting a bunch of time and energy, or it's not gonna get our people results? A lot of it comes down to assumptions. We often have assumptions about what our learners need, assumptions about how much they already know, and it really comes down to assuming instead of designing for what we actually know. And so that involves doing the learner research multiple times. It involves when you're actually in the course, getting feedback multiple times. And if that sounds like a lot of work, it's because it is. That's really what it takes to do this well and not ending up having to recreate a new course every 6 months because the one that you've got stopped selling or never did in the first place. So If you're still unsure after this video, in the description, I have a quiz that's called the Is a Course Right for Your Business quiz. It'll give you a little bit of direction about whether or not you have something that's really worth building. And you don't have to do this with me, but I will tell you if you are or are not ready. The link is in the description. Next time, I'm going to be talking about how to make sure your course doesn't end up collecting dust on the digital bookshelf. If it's not there, it'll be there next week.